Boom! What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. So today we're gonna be taking a look. I think I've done a few reviews from beers from Taxman before, if you guys have seen it. But they really specialize in Belgian style beers, and this one is right on that same realm of being around that because this is called their Belgian style quadruple ale, and I'm really excited to try this one. I really love Belgian quads, Belgian triples, Belgian doubles, you name it. I'm a fan of it. And this one has gotten a lot of awards. Let's see what right here. There's a couple different awards here where it says around the can. It says World Beer Awards. Their style winner. What else do we got? A bunch of different. A 2019 Craft Beer Award. Let's see. There's just a bunch of awards. 2020 awards. A gold medal was at the Great American Beer Fest, maybe. I don't know, but this one's called the Qualified. It comes in at a 9.5%, and if you guys don't know really what the flavors of a Belgian quad or a Belgian triple would usually be, they kind of go around the element of having really heavily spiced notes, being able to kind of bring out deeper, darker fruit notes like plum, date, raisin a lot of the times, and of course having those spice notes in there and having that higher ABV always really balances really well. Of course, it's not a Belgian style beer unless they're using Belgian malts, so that's what kind of inspires it to be around there. Because you have, when you're making a Belgian style of beer, you have to use specific Belgian malts for it to kind of get those flavors in there. But yeah, I'm super excited. Taxman has some of the best Belgian style beers I've had in the U.S., and they're right over the border in Indiana, so it's cool that I can get some stuff from them if I need to. Of course, how I usually pick it up is usually through Tavor. But yeah, I'm excited to try this thing out. So without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what this thing's like on the nose. Okay, let's see what this thing's like. Oh yeah, definitely getting those, getting bready notes, getting spice notes coming through, a little bit of those deeper fruits like plum, raisin. Yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. I'm gonna be drinking it out of my untapped tulip glass this afternoon. So let's see how this thing pours and see what it's all about. I'm expecting it's not going to be black, but it's definitely going to have almost sometimes they have a little bit of colors with stout, but there's definitely going to be more darker brown kind of colors in it. So without further ado, let's pour it and see what it's all about. Oh yeah, almost has a dark amber kind of color to it, almost to the point where it's black, but definitely has that kind of brownish hue to it. A little bit of a light brownish kind of head to it. But a lot of times with a beer like this, they're definitely more effervescent, I would say. They're not really creamy and all that aspects to what I've tried with this kind of specific style of beer. So you're about to get, if you drink something like this, you're going to get a very effervescent, just bready, deep, fruity, spiced beer. And that's exactly what I hope to get out of this one. So without further ado, let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So cheers, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh yeah, that is delicious. Of course, right up front, you get that plum and raisin flavor coming through right as it hits you in the face. And then you're getting spice notes, you're getting a heavy amount of bready notes. And overall, yeah, that's outstanding. This is absolutely outstanding. There's a nice sweetness to it right up front that I really enjoy. A lot of the times when it comes to this kind of style of beer, a lot of people like drinking this as a dessert just because there's sweetness, there's breadiness. And almost, instead of having a piece of cake or a piece of pie, you can kind of substitute that for a Belgian style beer, in my opinion, just because a lot of the times it brings off a lot of those same kind of characteristics and flavors as a dessert almost. It's not to the point to where it's those sours you would get from Drecker and all that stuff to where it's a smoothie. No, but it's just, there's a decadence to it that's hard to describe when it comes to the mixture of the dark fruits, the breadiness, and the spiciness to it. But I think this just is an absolutely fantastic beer. That's all that I've really tried from Taxman has been Belgian inspired, so they really know what they're doing, kind of going back to the roots of how beer was made back in the day, because the Belgian style of beers is some of the oldest form of beer out there. So being able to kind of be in the US and recreate an old world style of beer and almost perfect it, in my opinion, Taxman's doing something really cool over there. So let's look over here on Untapped, and of course one cool thing is that they have a lot of different variants of this same style of beer as well. So they have like a maple barrel version of the qualified. They have one called the certified, which is kind of another version of it. They have a red wine barrel aged version. They have a coffee vanilla qualified, a bourbon barrel qualified. So this is their qualified Belgian quad is something they like to play around with, sometimes aging it in barrels to kind of add the booziness and almost add an extra element of just awesomeness to it. So yeah, I think that's a really cool thing. I love playing around with barrel aged like quads and triples and all that stuff just because it adds like an oakiness and a richness to it that maybe sometimes brings elements of chocolate depending on what kind of barrel it's aged and all that kind of stuff. But overall, yeah, these other variants look like they'd be delicious as well. I don't remember if I've had any other versions of the qualified before. I'd have to check, but let's look and see what they show for similar beers here. Unfortunately, two of the beers they have as similar ones are other Taxman beers, so I'm not going to really mention those just because if you can't get your hands on this one from Taxman, you may be able to most likely not be able to get your hands on the other ones either because they have the deduction on here and then they have the maple barrel qualified. But there's two other ones right here that you guys have probably heard me talk about one of these when it comes to the brewery itself just because I did a review for one of their beers before. So they have one from Sun King Brewery called the Polynesian Passion, which is a Belgian triple coming out of 13%. So that will definitely bring in some similar notes. But those, they're using the Belgian style, but using like brighter tropical fruit notes. But I think you're going to definitely get those same kind of characteristics you would get with this, even though this is going to be more of a dark fruit. You'll be able to get spice notes, booziness, all that kind of stuff. For right now, the Polynesian Passion is definitely up there for being something similar to this. And then the last one we have here is from Four Noses Brewing Company called To Rain in Hell, which is brewed by Arthur apparently. So it's almost a 10% ABV Belgian strong golden ale. So yeah, you're definitely going to get some of those like spice, like clovey kind of notes in there as well, along with like this one has a lot more interesting like complex characteristics to it. I don't know if I'd really go through this one because there's like you get like a grassiness coming through on this one, maybe a little bit of citrus, white wine, bubblegum, banana. Those are some of the aromas and flavors they're describing on that one. But I think I'm gonna have to go with this Polynesian Passion for being the most similar to this one, just because it's still in that realm of being like a Belgian style quad ale or triple ale kind of situation. But overall, yeah, this beer is absolutely fantastic. I kind of knew it was gonna be good just because I haven't had a Belgian style beer from Taxman yet that I didn't enjoy. So they're definitely doing something really good over there. So let's look on my friends list before we read the description and all that and see if I have anybody in my friends list who check this one in. Of course, we got one, and it's my father. Since whenever I buy my beer, I'm usually buying for me and him. So we get 2 cans of the stuff. So he's checked this in back in October, and he gave it a 4 out of 5 purchase off Tavor, which, yep, that's how we got ours. So back before we start going with the global rating, let's see what people are saying. Let's look here. Let's look at the description first before we go over everything else. So what it says here is, for those qualified, our Abbey-style quadruple, this strong dark ale, features Belgian specialty malts with rich, deep notes of raisin and plum, enhancing the dynamic Belgian esters. A sweet, complex ale that's the perfect dessert beer to sip and savor. Yeah, hits the nail on the head with that description right there. Just, of course, so many Belgian characteristics where you get those spice notes from the Belgian malts that they're using. Getting those like deep, dark fruit notes is always really, really nice. Adds a nice amount of sweetness to it. And then sometimes getting those like clove and like allspice and nutmeggy kind of flavors coming through as well that are really, really kind of help make the sweetness and just the overall experience with this beer a little bit more complex and just absolutely delicious. So let's see what... Okay, you guys already told me... well, you didn't tell me. I told you guys already that it's a 9.5% ABV. So I would not consider this beer sessionable at all. You could definitely probably have 1 or 2 of these and probably start feeling a buzz. And it says there's a 20 IBUs, which that's... IBU rating is the measurement of bitterness when it comes to hops and beer and all that kind of stuff. So 20 IBUs is still pretty low, kind of maybe adding the slight kind of bitterness in there at the end to most likely balance out the sweetness. And with over 6,597 ratings, this one has an average rating of 3.91 out of 5, which isn't bad. I'm definitely going to be giving this one higher on Untappd than a 3.9. It's definitely going to be more around in the 4 realm for me. But let's see what the global ratings are and see where people purchase this stuff. So this guy gave it a 3.5. Actually purchased it at Meijer in Marion, Indiana. So you can get this stuff at Meijer. That's pretty cool. Let's see what else. We got a 2.25 here, purchased at the Harbor and Hops, which is a place in Jeffersonville, Indiana. I'm wondering if this guy just didn't like the Belgian style beers. This guy gave it a 4.5. We got another 3.75. We got a 4.25. We got a full 5 out of 5 purchased from the Harbor and Hops. Another 5 out of 5 saying, home from Vegas, the last slot machine flushed across the screen. One more time hitting the button, you will be mopping floors in the bathroom. So, yeah, he looks like he just finished at the casino and decided to have a nice qualifier there. So that sounds like a really good idea. Let's see what else we got here. We got a 3.75. We got a 4.25 saying super smooth but lovely notes of raisin and dates and Belgian-y goodness. 100% agree with you on that one. Let's do 2 more. And then we got another 4.25. And then finally, we got a full 4 out of 5. So, yeah, a lot of pretty good ratings. Some of the ratings that are a little bit lower, but definitely I'm seeing a nice average of getting a 4 and above when it comes to the ratings of stuff. So let's actually let's look here and on Taxman's website. Of course, the qualified is their house beer, so it looks like that is one that's available year-round, so you can go over to Taxman and be able to get your hands on that stuff, which is always really, really good. Plus, they have a bunch of seasonal stuff and all kind of just nice variations of maybe bourbon barrel aging and all that stuff. So you could probably, if you go over to Taxman's Brewery and let's see what else we got here. They got a store where you can buy merchandise, gift cards, and all that stuff. You can do private events in either three other locations. Look like they have one in Bargersville, Cityway. I wonder what that is. They're probably Taxman Cityway as our place offered unique image atmosphere to provide dining needs. Okay, so that's really cool. They have like kind of a almost an 1850s kind of themed kind of room where you could host a private event, and then they have a Fortville location. So they have 3 locations that can host private events if you want to do something over there, which is really, really nice. You can even go over to the website, purchase some merchandise, all that kind of stuff. And of course they had the beer finder on there, so if you want to possibly get some stuff from Taxman, their beer finder is always a really, really good help for that, because they'll let you know the nearest location you can get your hands on the stuff from. But with all that being said, let's see here. Let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings on our end over here on this guy. Let me pour a little bit more into the glass. Have a little sip because it's delicious. And let's look at can art. Yeah, the stuff that Taxman does when it comes to their can art, they usually have some kind of like almost steampunky kind of vibe to it. I mean, you got the skeleton wearing the top hat and all the kind of stuff. I've had a couple to where they're more steampunk like themed, but these ones are really, really clean, classy. I love the skull on the front with the top hat. I think it's really cool. Having the awards on there is a really nice touch because you're pretty much merchandising your accomplishments. What, of course, why wouldn't you promote your accomplishments that you've done as a brewery? Having a really nice description of there, of course, with the logo, and having the Independent Craft Beer logo, so they're a part of the Independent Craft Brewers Association. So yeah, really, really nice can art on this one. So I'm probably going to give this, yeah, it would be something I would say that would catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop, most likely, yeah. But for rating, I'll give this a solid 4 out of 5. Yeah, really nice. Definitely something that is eye appealing and not has any child appealing stuff to it. So overall, really, really nice. So let's see what else here. If I got this beer in a flight over at Taxman, would I get another one? To be honest, absolutely. I'm a big fan of the qualified. I think I've had the barrel aged version of the qualified, and that's been delicious. So overall, yeah, the flavors coming from this one are outstanding. If you're a fan of Belgian style ales, when it comes to like a golden ale or anything like that, anything that uses Belgian style malts and all that kind of stuff, bringing in those darker notes, spice notes, definitely deeper fruited notes. I think you will definitely enjoy this one for sure. It hits every mark that I'm looking for when it comes to a Belgian style beer. There's nothing that's too overpowering. Everything is perfectly well balanced. So overall, Taxman did a fantastic job with this one. So with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, let's see. I think I'm going to give this a solid 8.5 out of 10. Really, really do enjoy it. So like I said, if you can get your hands on this one, do not hesitate. Buy it. If you're a fan of Belgian-style beers, I think you'll absolutely love this one. So just keep it out for it. Of course, if you want to see if you can get it near you, go to their website. They have a beer finder on there. You'll probably just have to put in your zip code, and they'll let you know what the nearest locations that have carried them, or maybe a distributor around you that carries some of their stuff, so you can go into your local joint and, like, when it comes to your local liquor store or bottle shop, and see if they can get stuff to carry. That's always a cool kind of relationship you can build with your purchaser at your local liquor store or bottle shop. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are awesome. And if you want, like I said before, if you want to get your hands on stuff from Taxman, plenty of options to do so. You can use the beer finder thing on their website. Of course, you can use Tavour, which they show up on Tavour all the time. You guys have heard me spiel about Tavour plenty of times before, so I don't think I need to say anything else from it. But what else do we got? If you're on social media, I know this is usually one of the last few things I mention on here. So if you're on social media all the time like I am and all that, and if you're drinking craft beer, there's one platform you need to get yourself over to. I can probably guarantee that everybody that's watching right now is on there, and I'm glad to see what they're drinking normally. But you need to get yourself over to Untappd. It's a fantastic platform. You can check in beers, get badges, see what's popular in your area, see what beers are trending in your area. You can look at different verified venues when it comes to liquor stores or bottle shops or breweries themselves and see what they're selling and all that kind of stuff. It's a really, really diverse platform that has pretty much anything you're looking for when it comes to beer drinking. So you can go over to the website, kind of log in through the website, or you can download the app for Untappd either through the App Store or from Android or iPhone, and you can get yourself on there. So if you can shoot me a friend request, link to my profile is down in the description below for you guys. I would love to see what other people are drinking as well. But last but not least, of course, if you want to support me any other way than just watch my videos, supporting me on Untappd and on Instagram and all that, you have an option now. You guys may have heard me talk about it a couple days ago, but I did start a Patreon for you guys if anybody wanted to help support me for any exclusive kind of content that I'm thinking about coming out with when it comes to possibly beer giveaways. I already have my first 4-pack of Illinois beers ready to be given away for anybody who joins my Patreon. Of course, depending on the tier you join, you have that many more entries into that raffle. So the higher tier you choose, the more opportunity you get to win. And I have a bunch of other stuff planned when it comes to possibly making a Discord for my patrons, getting exclusive glassware, coasters, koozies, possibly shirts, stickers. I'm planning all kinds of stuff. So you just keep an eye on over there. Of course, the link to my Patreon is down in the description below for you guys. If you want to support, that would be awesome. But other than that, that is pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody in chat for hanging out. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to end this like I always end it before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.